Okay, when it comes to Thanksgiving, you know the challenge of having one oven and having like 7 things you have to bake, trying to figure out how to time everything perfectly, what to make ahead, what to make the day of. Well, to teach our class today all about creating your Thanksgiving schedule, we have none other than Kelsey Nixon. You guys might know Kelsey from the Food Network and the Cooking Channel. She actually was one of my classmates in college, and I'm proud to call her a classmate and a friend. And we're so thrilled to have her teach us today some tools that are going to help us get our schedule right for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving can be one of the most stressful and intimidating things a home cook ever does, but it also can be one of the most rewarding and delicious. But even if you're a go with the flow kind of person, if there's any time of year to have a game plan in the kitchen, it's Thanksgiving. So I have come up with a 10-day Thanksgiving game plan. A schedule, if you will, something you can follow each day leading up to the big holiday, doing a little bit at a time to make sure that you can really enjoy the big holiday with your family and friends. Let's do it. All right, 10 days out, this is when the game plan begins. The first thing you're gonna do is write out that Thanksgiving menu, and I'm talking every dish you can think of. Every dish, dessert, appetizer, drink, get it all in one place. From there, I like to categorize those dishes. So whether it's something that needs to be served warm, I'll put a W near it, or if it's something that can be room temperature, I'll put an R next to it. I like having some labels there so it gives me an idea of what I need to think about in advance. I also like to think about those dishes I can make ahead of time. Next, I like to take all of those recipes and assign them serving platters. That way, you know you've got something to serve everything in. So I will literally pull those dishes out, take little Post-it notes, and put the Post-its in each of the dishes. That way I know exactly what is going in what. Now, this is a great time to also think about what servingware you'll be using, whether it's a big spoon or a big fork or tongs, whatever it may be. Make sure you've got something to serve it with so you're not looking for a spoon at the last minute. Next, we gotta talk turkey. Turkey is the star of the show on Thanksgiving, and now is the time to decide what you're going to do with your turkey. Are you gonna buy a frozen turkey? How big does it need to be? Maybe you're going to fry your turkey this year or grill your turkey. Or maybe you are gonna tap into the local barbecue restaurant and get a smoked turkey this year. Whatever it is, determine what you're doing with your turkey and make a game plan. Next, you want to think about oven space and stovetop space. So refer to that menu and determine what needs oven space and what needs stovetop space, especially within that hour before serving your actual dinner. It's good for you to keep that in mind, and maybe will even make you think creatively about something that could be made in a slow cooker, in an Instant Pot, or served room temperature. I also like to do a kitchen tools audit, especially if you're making something for the first time. Go through each recipe, determine, do I need a special tool for this? Do I have it? Maybe it's even something as simple as tinfoil or parchment paper. Just do a nice tools audit for every recipe you plan to make. 8 days out, this is the time to do some delegating. If you have anyone coming to your dinner and maybe they've offered to bring something, give them a job. Absolutely give them a job. Ask them what they'd like to make or tell them exactly what you need. But now is the time to make those assignments and then note them on your menu so you don't have to worry about it. This is the time I also like to make 2 shopping lists, a shopping list for now and a shopping list for later. I typically do 2 shops for my Thanksgiving meal. You want to buy everything you can as far enough in advance as possible, but then there's going to be some things that you need fresh in just a few days ahead, but make those 2 lists. Next, I am such a fan of shopping your fridge and your pantry before you go and actually do that first shop. Make sure you've got enough flour, baking soda, some of those staples so that you're not overbuying, but you definitely have it on hand. Next, I always like to clean out my fridge and freezer. This is going to be critical. Your fridge and freezer are going to be like the host of Thanksgiving Central. So there's no better time to do a good deep clean, a clean out, free up space in that refrigerator, and get yourself set up for success. 7 days in advance, this is the time to do that first big grocery shop. Now, I'm a huge fan, especially now, of doing grocery delivery or grocery pickup. So put all those things in your online cart, get it ready to go, double check your pantry and your fridge, and make that first shop. Now, when those groceries are delivered to you, or you pick them up, or you go good old-fashioned shopping, make sure you come home and you organize them. Think about the meal a week in advance. Make sure you know where those ingredients are going to be so that you're not wondering, do I or do I not have something? All right, 6 days in advance, the weekend before Thanksgiving. There's a couple things I want you to think about. Turkey, now is the time to think about defrosting your turkey. Depending on how big it is, you may need to stick it in the fridge now in order to defrost it fully, correctly, safely. So take a look at that. And if you haven't bought your turkey, now is the time to do it. You also want to start thinking about make-ahead dishes. Think about those things that you can make in advance. For me, that looks like things like a cranberry sauce or relish, and even gravy. I'm a huge fan of making my gravy in advance and then adding the turkey drippings to it on the actual day. So that's what you want the weekend before Thanksgiving to look like. All right, it's the Monday or Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Now, this is the time to prep all your veggies. Literally go through every single recipe and say what needs to be prepped. Speaking of those veggies, this is also the time that you're gonna do that second shop. So anything you need to shop for that's fresh that you couldn't buy a few days earlier, buy it now. I'm gonna give you another reminder. Think about make-ahead recipes or components of recipes, anything you can do in advance, whether it's making your pie crust or the cranberry sauce or the gravy, whatever it may be, make ahead is your best friend when it comes to Thanksgiving prep. Okay, it's the day before Thanksgiving. I like to call this dessert and dough day. So really think about those desserts. Make all your pies, start to finish, get them ready to go. Make sure you've got space reserved in the refrigerator, especially if it's like a cream pie, but do your desserts and your doughs. I love, especially fresh rolls on Thanksgiving. I think it's a must, but now is a great time to make your dough and let it proof in the refrigerator overnight, so that's one less thing you have to worry about doing. This is another opportunity to make something in advance, maybe like a stuffing that wouldn't have been good a few days earlier, but you could cook that off and rewarm it within 24 hours and it would taste fantastic. All right, it's the night before Thanksgiving, and this is probably my favorite tip of all. It's table time. I am going to encourage you to set your entire Thanksgiving table. Lay out the tablecloth and the runner and the chargers and the plates and the silverware. Get everything you can. If you plan to have any servingware on the table, put it on the table with its little post-it note there so you know what's going to go inside of it. This can relieve so much stress. So even if you are behind on your cooking on actual Thanksgiving, that table is done and ready to go. And when someone walks in the door, they're gonna think, oh, everything's totally under control. So set your table the night before. It's the morning of Thanksgiving. Now is the time to bake your rolls and any remaining desserts that you need to bake day of. This is also the time that I like to make my mashed potatoes. After making my mashed potatoes, I like to put them in a slow cooker with a couple of pats of butter on top, because it's Thanksgiving after all, and just keep them warm throughout the day. Potatoes are definitely something that you can make in the morning and they'll last until the afternoon or early evening. Finally, you want to chill those drinks. So whatever drinks you're serving to your guests, make sure you've got a game plan to keep them cold, and that might include having extra ice on hand. 4 to 6 hours before dinner time, that's when you're gonna wanna get your turkey in the oven, most likely, especially if you've thawed it correctly. You'll want to take a really close look at how big your turkey is and take a look at the times. Remember, you can always call the turkey hotline with Butterball on actual Thanksgiving Day if you have any questions. But if it's thawed properly, it should cook really easily. I feel like a turkey is one of those things that can feel so intimidating, but if you follow the basic steps and directions, it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be so, so good. So get that turkey in the oven, and remember that turkey can sit for about an hour after it comes out of the oven and still be warm and delicious. And to be quite honest, it's a lot easier to carve a warm turkey than it is a super hot turkey. So give yourself a little bit of a buffer when it comes to getting that turkey in the oven. The next thing I would say is you'll want to prep anything that needs to go into the oven and make an oven timeline, especially if you've only got one. Make sure you know exactly what needs to go in at what time. And one thing I like to do is set official timers on my phone that are assigned to the dishes so that I know exactly what's going in at what time. The other thing you could consider is if you have two items that cook at the same temperature, like 350 or 375, cook them at the same time to free up that oven space. All right, 2 hours to go. Now this is the time when you want to pull up anything that you've made in advance and you need it to come to room temperature. This is also the time that you want to start thinking about those appetizers. Whether you're making an appetizer board or platter, whatever it may be, pull it out, assemble it, make it beautiful, and have it ready to go. This is also the time that I like to whip my cream because I can't imagine Thanksgiving dinner without freshly whipped cream. So whip it up, put some plastic wrap over the top, and stick it in the freezer, and you'll be good to go. We're down to the final hour. You are almost there. This is hopefully about when you're pulling your turkey out. And I have complete confidence that none of you will be panicking. It'll be perfect. It'll be so, so great. Then you want to think about the gravy. Now I like to make my gravy in advance and then add the drippings to that gravy so that I'm not worried about it. I feel like gravy can be another one of those pain points or really stressful things. So consider making a make-ahead gravy. The other thing you want to do is preheat to reheat. Make sure that oven is free. You don't have anything in there that's cooking the hour before. It's merely there preheated, maybe a 250, 275 to keep those things that you want warm. Last but not least, fill up the water glasses or whatever you're serving and clean the kitchen. I know, it seems like how will I ever have time to clean the kitchen? But I'm telling you, if you have a clean kitchen and a beautiful meal on the table, it's gonna make it so you can enjoy it that much more. Now, this is the other thing when it comes to a clean kitchen. If you have a guest that's arrived a little early and they say, what can I do to help? Have them clean. Have a designated helper job, which probably involves cleaning up. Hey, could you tackle the dishes in the sink? Could you wipe the counters down? Whatever it may be, but have a designated cleaning job for the first person or the first 2 or 3 people that say, what can I do to help? Right before the dinner, right before you sit down, I like to actually turn my oven off so that it's still warm and stick the pies in there so that they just kind of stay warm, but they don't cook any further. That's one tip I really like. I also like to reheat the gravy, just give it a good whisk, pour it in the gravy boat, and then I like to plate everything up. So whether you're serving family style or buffet style, or you're actually plating plates, this is the time to do that. And last but not least, I like to empty the dishwasher. This is another perfect task for the person that says, what can I do? What can I do? Oh, could you just empty my dishwasher? That way, so when people are finished with their plates and their silverware, they can put it directly into the dishwasher, making cleanup a breeze so that you can enjoy everybody's company. That's it. I think we covered it. That is my 10-day Thanksgiving game plan. And the best overall advice I have is to make an actual plan. It will make things so much easier. And don't just make that plan in your head. Print it out, write it out, whatever it may be. I really encourage you to set timers, whether it's for every day or just the actual day of Thanksgiving. That will keep you on track. There's never been a time for a home cook that is more important than having a plan for the Thanksgiving dinner. All right, you guys, happy Thanksgiving and good luck.
All right, you can see why we love Kelsey. I know I learned so much from that. Thank you, Kelsey. If you want more content like this, be sure to tune in this Thursday. We have a class with Katie Hughes, and she's going to be talking about setting a Thanksgiving table. And she has 3 really simple and easy ideas that are beautiful for beautiful ways to set your Thanksgiving table. As always, we have lots of holiday content and content throughout the year on self-improvement, parenting, sex, all sorts of things. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along here with us on 8-Minute Classes. We're so happy you're here, and happy Thanksgiving, you guys.